white. After we were done, I tore my drums down. I stacked them up. I watched the entire, no, I'm saying this innocently because I didn't know this at the time, but I'm watching them set up the pyrotechnics, thinking that this is going to be great. Great White comes up. They didn't even get, I think it was this, I don't want to say Desert Storm. It was something.
Yeah,
desert
it was Desert Storm, opening number.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay, so they didn't even get into, I don't even think Jack Russell got to sing. And, you know, I don't drink when I play because I don't want to get sloppy. So I probably was the only sober one there, and I'm leaning on this box that says explosives, which that's way ahead of the story. But long and short, the fire catches on the left side. You can watch this on YouTube. The video is actually still up there. Mm-hmm. And the fire started on the left side of the stage. And when pyrotechnics go off like a sparkler, it's like a whitish type of a color. Well, this was yellow and orange. And I don't know why, a God-given thing or whatever it was, I sensed danger. I don't know why. And I ran out the side stage door, and I ran over to the front knowing that's where my wife was. And, you know, people are kind of walking out. I'm just kind of grabbing arms. Still none of this is processing that anything's bad. It was just a sense that I can't explain. And I just started pulling these arms out. My wife was like the fifth or sixth one. I pulled her up into the parking lot, and I said, don't move. I mean, don't effing move.
Yeah.
And by the time I got back up to the door, the heat was so bad. So now I'm fast forwarding quite a bit. There was a DJ bet down here called Dr. Metal from 94 HJY. And he died, half my band died in the fire, and 10 friends.
Oh.
So basically, you had, if you watch the video, you had exactly 88 seconds to get out or you were dead, because the last person to walk out was was 2 seconds short of a minute and a half.
Wow, that's incredible.
So
unbelievable.
It didn't process. And I'm like, Steve and Keith Mancini were my bass player and my guitar player. And I'm like, where's Steve? Where's Keith? And just nobody. So just, I can talk about it comfortably now, but it's sometimes I look back at it, like I was looking at some pictures on Google, just because of the anniversary, and I'm looking at these bodies, stacked up in the doorway and stuff like that. And the funny thing is, you as a human, you shut down certain senses. It's a protective thing for your brain. And I genuinely can stand here and talk to you all day about the sites, but I actually, when I'm telling the story, it's more like I'm hearing it from other people, because I don't really remember. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember. I remember the sounds, the screams, and that kind of thing, but I don't really remember the sights. And, Kevin Beasy, the station manager at the time, is like, he goes, what are you talking about? You don't remember? He goes, a ball of fire came running out of the building. He goes, and we both grabbed him and threw him into the snowbank to put the fire out. I said, dude, I don't remember. So I shut that kind of stuff down, where my wife remembers all the sights, but she doesn't remember any smells. She doesn't remember any, sounds. So it's funny how your brain works. Everyone's different.
That is incredible. And hey, for listeners who don't remember the specifics of this, of course, the pyro lit some foam that had been applied to the walls and ceiling as like a sound deadening.
That's right.
Had you ever seen pyro at the station before?
I did, but when I had to go to the grand jury during some of this, and I didn't remember it. You got to keep in mind, we're 80s guys, so some of the stuff you don't remember, and then some of the stuff you might actually confuse what you saw on MTV or what you actually did. No shitting. So I'm like, I said, I think I did. I don't remember. I've seen Kiss tributes. I mean, what kind of Kiss tribute's not going to have something?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I'm like, when they're trying to, hang you for nothing, you start getting paranoid about stuff. So you can't say yay or nay, because you don't really, they'll hold you to it.
Well,
I'm like, I don't think I did.
Yeah. Did the foam on the stage and the walls have an appearance that gave you any concern? I mean, was that even on your radar? Like, whoa, this is kind of weird the way this thing's laid out.
Well, without a doubt, when I was, doing the grand jury thing, the Providence Journal, Sunday Times had come and did an interview. And keep in mind, I turned down interviews with MTV, the behind the music thing. I turned down. I don't want that attention. See, some people love it. They want to. Oh, even if it's bad, I want to be part of this.
Yeah,
I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't go to the memorials. I don't want the attention. I don't want cameras on me. I don't need that. Like, some people need those things.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
a weird
of course.
thing,
So
Aly.
over
The years, not many of you guys have talked much about that day. You know, the Great White certainly doesn't speak on it for the most part.
No.
And I don't recall anyways. And I remember that story landed, it was at night. And the next morning I was on doing a radio show here in Detroit. And so those first images were coming out while all the morning shows across the country were live. And seeing those images of bodies stacked in the door, it's like 9/11 to me. It's something I'll never forget. And seeing the horror take place there and knowing how much life was lost.
100 dead, 230 injured, only 132 escaped. So the odds were just greatly stacked against you.
Yeah, yep.
And the funny thing is, too, there's a book on Amazon called The Killer Show. It's a really big seller. Our names are throughout that book. I think it's from a lawyer's perspective, some of the legal stuff. But my wife and I were actually going to buy the club. So, questions arose, don't, dude, that could have been you.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say, no, it wouldn't have. But it wouldn't have, because I'm not going to get into any legal stuff, but I wouldn't have had that stuff on there. But they had quoted me in the papers as saying, when you saw them push up the pyrotechnics up against the foam, did you think that was odd? Because they were thinking that this person, whether he did or didn't, I don't know. I can't speculate. That he had permission by the club to put the pyrotechnics in the building. We don't know. I don't know, honestly.